Rain hammered the earth. Rivers roared like beasts. The sky split open. Men screamed. Women wailed. Children clung to anything that could float. And above it all, a single voice, not gentle, not pleading, roaring, crushing, enough. Zeus had risen from Olympus, eyes like lightning, fury in every muscle. He did not hesitate. The mountains trembled. The oceans boiled. Cities vanished under waves, taller than towers. They had insulted him, all of them, and he would remind the world why no mortal, no god, could ever defy him. But here's the twist. It wasn't punishment alone. There was something deeper, something darker. By the end, you will see Zeus not just as a god, but as a force of fear itself.
Unveil the legends.
Before the flood, the world glittered with excess. Gold shimmered in the sun. Palaces soared like mountains of light. Streets ran slick with wine, laughter echoing over the clatter of coins and the cries of entertainers. Temples rose higher than clouds, their spires piercing the heavens themselves. Pride was not just common. It was a religion, but the gods were not blind. They watched, not kindly, not silently. Zeus, above all, simmered in his throne room, his golden eyes narrowing at every excess, every indulgence. He was king, yes, but paranoia twisted him. Every whisper of ambition, every sidelong glance, every secret shared between mortals and demigods alike was a betrayal in his mind. His daughters plotted, his sons deceived. Priests murmured forbidden secrets. Mortals were worse. Lies at first, small and ignorable, but soon audacity grew like a virus. Temples burned, sacred offerings vanished. Oaths once sworn in the name of gods were shattered without thought. The air grew thick with tension. Every festival, every feast, every quiet look across a crowded hall carried the weight of impending catastrophe. The world teetered on the edge, its balance fragile, its arrogance undeniable. And Zeus? He did not act. Yet, he waited, and in that waiting, the storm began to gather. It began with fire, not from heaven, not a warning from Olympus, but from human hands. A temple to Hera was defiled. Statues toppled, their marble faces cracked and twisted. Gold melted into molten rivers, spilling across stone floors like liquid disgrace. Candles sputtered in smoke and ash, prayers lost in the chaos. Zeus saw it, and the betrayal tasted like ash in his mouth. Every lie, every act of impiety, every betrayal he had witnessed across centuries coalesced into a single, burning rage. He descended from Olympus. The clouds churned beneath his feet. Lightning coiled around his arms. Thunder rolled across the mountains like the drums of a god. Preparing for war, he did not whisper, he did not warn. He destroyed. Rivers bowed to his command. Storms ripped forests from hills, uprooting centuries of growth. Mountains shivered as rain fell in needles, slicing the earth. Men ran, women screamed. Boats shattered, horses drowned, children were wrenched from their parents' arms. The cries of the innocent were drowned beneath the roar of the flood. The stench of salt and death hung heavy, choking the air. Birds vanished, silenced by the enormity of his wrath. And yet, not all had sinned. Some mortals prayed, begged, offered gifts, trembling in terror, but the flood knew no mercy. Its purpose was total, absolute. Every choice humanity had made, their greed, their arrogance, their petty cruelties, culminated here. The world did not end quietly. It ended in a scream, a roar, a shattering that echoed across earth, sea and sky, leaving only ruin in its wake. But here's what few remember. The flood was not merely punishment. It was strategy. A message. A calculated strike. Zeus did not act alone. The whispers of Olympus guided him. Athena, ever cunning, had counsel in her sharp gaze. Hermes, sly and unpredictable, nudged the god toward action. Even the skies themselves seemed to conspire, gathering storm clouds like conspirators awaiting a signal. And hidden deep in the ancient scrolls, buried beneath layers of myth, was a secret truth. Humans were never meant to endure. Their ambition, their pride, their insatiable drive to build and conquer, it threatened the delicate balance of Olympus itself. Think about it. A god destroying his own creation? Madness or necessity? Perhaps Zeus feared mortals who could one day rival him. Perhaps he feared betrayal, not from them, but from his own kin. Titans and lesser gods alike had their schemes. Every crashing wave, every choking deluge was a warning, not just to humans, but to the cosmos. Challenge the divine and you will be erased. We imagine Zeus as protector, father of men, but maybe that is the lie. Perhaps the true crime was not the flood, but the revelation that gods in their glory were monsters cloaked in human form. The waters receded. The world that emerged was quiet. Too quiet. No laughter, no cries, no sound but the drip of water from shattered timbers, the hiss of wind over mud-choked plains, and the distant groan of splintered stone. Cities that had once glittered with ambition and gold lay in ruin. Skeletal remains of what humans had called civilization. All that remained were Deucalion and Pyrrha, two mortals who had listened to the old prophecies, who had bowed when the gods whispered warnings, when others scoffed. They stepped carefully over the broken streets, over toppled statues and shattered temples, feeling the weight of silence pressing down like a living thing. Each step was a reminder. They were among the few spared from the wrath of Zeus. Yet survival was no victory. The sky still brooded above them, dark and heavy with memory. Yet even in devastation, life flickered. Stones they cast became people, clay born from their hands, and slowly, painfully, humanity was reborn. The flood that had erased everything also forged myth, a testament to endurance, a blueprint for hope rising from ash and water. And still today, when storms rage, when rivers swell and spill into homes, when lightning cracks across the sky, that shadow returns. The warning of unchecked power, the reminder of pride untempered. One moment of divine wrath, and everything humanity builds, everything it loves, everything it fears, can vanish as quickly as it came. The flood is gone, but the fear remains, etched deep into the memory of the earth and into our own. The lesson? Fear is the most ancient law. What humans called a god's wrath, Zeus called survival. And perhaps, in the shadows, that is still how the world turns. Tell me, if you could survive a flood of Zeus's making, would you? Or would you drown in your own arrogance? And if this tale chilled your bones, wait until you hear about his brother Poseidon, the god who rules the sea and thirsts for revenge. His story is darker and far more personal. The storm is coming,